think about certain individuals, and yes, that's something you should do, but I'm not going to talk about certain individuals. It's just true that way. For me, the second thing is also for more people that we're going to talk about traits. Yeah. All of you have this trait to some extent, or and that's what people think a lot of people in their jobs. They should have narcissism, not a bad thing per se. It's extreme. People are not disorder. That is bad. Usually think of some really dysfunctional people that might have that. So I'm going to talk about the trait, not necessarily the disorder, and we'll get into what that means. So the phrase that she goes, how they said narcissism, I'm going to talk about what narcissism is. If you have your mind already on expectations about what you think narcissism is, you've heard this term, you may have used this term. But it's really more music so you can think it first. To start, you need to go all about narcissism group mythology and understand where the term narcissism comes from. So here's one of the things. It's just narcissist looking in the pond and sees an image of himself. And so there's some text there that I think is the background of the story. All that is lovely and self he loves, and in what ways he wants himself. He has never made reason to around the image of himself. He knows not what he there beholds. And this is the first key point. People often think of narcissism as self-love, where this image in the text says he knows not what he there beholds. It's not necessarily about self-love. Okay, the fact that there's some self-hatred, a lack of self-recognition. He does not recognize who he is in the image. So then you see influences longing, and the air that sees allures his eyes. The wire for his glory, so thinking catching at the splitting form. The tree that you are seeking has no place. Avert your gaze, you lose your love. Resist and close your eyes. Is nothing save the image of yourself reflected back. It comes and mixes you and has no life. It will depart and you will only go. So if you think of narcissism not as self-love, or the self-hatred helps us get into the psychological roots of where it comes from. Some of the categories that you might think explain what this is are traits such as being authoritative. Someone has a sense that they have authority, they're commanding presence. They need to know that they are superior, they're better than other people, that they have better knowledge or better abilities than others. They have a sense of self-sufficiency, that they can do it on their own. They don't need help from others, they can do it. Now, think about those three traits. They're often actually called the good side of narcissism. Think about someone like me, a professor, trying to stand up in front of a room of students and try to teach them. You need to have some sense of authority, that you are the authority figure as a teacher. You even have that sense of superiority, that you might have knowledge that's worth imparting to people, you can help benefit them. And a sense of self-sufficiency, you often admire the people that they are disciplined, they can take care of themselves, they're independent. So those traits, to argue, actually a good thing. Now, the other traits aren't clearly as a good thing. Exhibitionism. This is the sense that they want to be seen, they're going to make a show. They're going to try to get attention and poking fun of people. This is a side of vanity, where people, this is the kind of self-love that people usually think of with narcissism, that if they want to look good all the time, they want their images to be sharp and pristine. So they get into people's expectations. They don't care about what other people have to them. They lack empathy, and so they're going to exploit situations for their own benefit. The last one is entitlement. And this type of entitlement is not necessarily the general sense of entitlement. It's really narcissistic entitlement. It's it's really negative, that they think they deserve more than other people. Some of the things that we see in general about narcissism is that they're really great at finding opportunities for self-enhancement. When they present a situation, it benefits them, they'll go after it, they'll make it happen, make themselves look good. They'll constantly seek for the attention of others. Now, there's some ways that narcissistic CEOs do this. It really affects how firms function as they seek attention. If you go to a narcissist and you try to deliver negative criticism, it doesn't go well. Okay, they don't hear. Okay, there's some research that actually shows that they psychologically, cognitively, do not process the information. Just in one ear or out the other. It kind of expresses the true narcissist. And what happens when you do that, they often respond negatively, and that's where you see things like low integrity. Okay, they'll exploit situations, they're not truthful at all times. Engage in deviant behavior, and I'll show you that narcissistic CEOs engage in that in certain ways. There's a course that helps explain, I think, how you should think about narcissists. So, as a sort of psychologist, they say think of narcissists as individuals for whom enhancing the positivity of the self, specifically to achieve status and esteem, is overwhelmingly important. Much of the psychological and social life is directed towards this goal. When they wake up, they think about it. When they're going out for the day, they think about it. This occupies their mind and their life. So the next quote comes from our popular textbook, you may have seen or read it, called Mirror Effect, how celebrities kind of accentuate the narcissism in our society. And here we see that narcissists are masters at creating ways of getting what they do need to exist. Positive feedback and stroking from others. And this ties back to that disconnect that narcissists, when you can recognize themselves, when a narcissist is disconnected from their self-image, they're often looking for ways to reinforce what they think their self-image is. So look for positive feedback, stroking from others. The life is important today. This is not a new personality trait, but the evidence suggests that it's something we should be aware of and think about in today's world. So here's a little bit of data that I can show you the trend as we continue upwards. What we have here are scores on a narcissistic personality inventory, which is the psychological measure you fill out to say how narcissistic am I. What you can see here is back in 1980, the average scale is about 15, and we've seen a steady increase. And everyone that took is in the data was college sophomores. So the same group every year is college sophomores, and you see it just creeping up. If you took this today, it should be even higher, based on my experience with college students. It shows that 1 out of 16 of all ages experience shuts us up slow. It's not just college students, it's adults and people walks of life. That started increase on a 13% increase in the average score. Another study, which was a huge sample, so that 6% of the population experienced high levels of narcissism. That's a lot of people when you think about how many people there are. In general, men are more narcissistic than women. And younger people are more narcissistic than older people. And what causes this? Where does this trait of narcissism come from? It is something called woman. So this is over time. This explanation is a clinical one. And this genopath is what happens in your upbringing that affects how you behave. So in its extreme form, the disorder form, is caused by early childhood trauma in the form of sexual, physical, and emotional abuse, or severe neglect. Such early childhood experiences threaten self-esteem. Okay? Think about the not being able to recognize yourself. Okay? That's what happens when a young child experiences early childhood trauma when they're developing their self-image, when they disrupt it. Okay? And they can't connect. It's called an unrelenting desire to seek attention, admiration, and external validation. That's the extreme form. And it's Here's some data from 1980 to 1983. The incidence of maltreatment of children per 1,000 children rose from 9.8 to 23.1, doubling over that 13-year period. Taking out from the that sample in 2006, emotionally neglected children more than double. So what we're seeing is, as societal things decay, family units, more child mild live on, all these kind of social trends we see that really affect children in their development, and that leads to maladaptive personality traits, such as narcissism. That's kind of the most group side of it. The one that you may have more experience with is just general society, so the social psychology view that the world we live in kind of molds our character. You can have overindulgent helicopter parents. This is generally the baby boomers who had the deprived childhood, so they overcorrected. They raised a generation of mostly millennials, over-involved, praising parents that protect their kids, and have some bad effects. People want to be very individualistic. They want to achieve and give their children a better life. This is where you think, like, everyone gets a trophy. You go to AYS soccer game, here's a trophy for the last place team, right? You see that often in commercials. But there's a real psychological value that's communicated. They say, you didn't do well, you underperformed, but we're still going to recognize your achievements. Okay? That helps contribute to the sense of narcissism needs to be praised, that you have attention. Some of people are entitled to get things, even though I may not deserve them. This is one of my favorite quotes about narcissism. I think it sums up why it's such an issue. This is from a psychiatrist. This is obviously the more extreme form of it. He said, the problem with narcissism is always a risk of bursting. That's why young people are higher on drugs than ever, drunker than ever, smoking more, tattooing more, piercing more, having more and more sex. Earlier and earlier, raising babies before they do well, because it makes them feel special for a while. They're doing anything to distract themselves from the fact that they feel empty inside and unworthy. That's a sobering commentary on society. And for me, it's just a reminder of how important it is with my own children, right? I don't want this, okay? So I, as a parent, to try to prevent this and to develop healthier ways of viewing and interacting with the world. So there you go, narcissism is that kind of base. And this is what I delved into, and said this is the world of narcissism. What is interesting account? Time research is often not that interesting sometimes. You can imagine debit credits, wow, so interesting, right? So I worked with the personality that I make this work, and I have a career studying something I find interesting, but do it in the accounting world. This is what I'm interested in. And that's what I look at CEOs. So they're most likely to be narcissistic. And the reason that narcissists are achievement-oriented. They have charisma. They're able to paint bold pictures of the future and rally the troops to engage in and convince the room. Goals and vision. They're very inspiring. It's something we want as leaders. So it is a good trait for leaders to have. It very well could be. Especially if you have a firm that might be young and needs to grow, needs to put out a message. Okay? Narcissistic CEO might be a beneficial thing. That's why I think this is what they have. It doesn't really cause it out as it can happen from this. The downside is they can also be very arrogant. They can be self-serving. They're only looking out for themselves. They can not be shareholders. They want power. They'll look for ways to achieve power. And interpersonally, they're lack empathy. And that's where a lot of people get frustrated with a narcissistic manager or CEO, because they lack empathy. They can't put themselves in their employees' shoes. And that can be really great for the clients. The three answers called echelon theory. What this theory says is that we're trying to understand how firms behave. Why do firms do things? Well, firms are the summation of individual choices together, human choices that we attribute to firms. And because of that, this theory says that some of those choices that we say firms make must be some reflection of the managers, because the managers are the individuals making that choice. And so we draw on that theory. We say, let's look at narcissistic CEOs. This is my favorite part of research. How we measure narcissism CEO. Do you think Scott says nice things? Well, I think you can sit down and do a survey for me. So I am not narcissistic kids. They really hard to do. They get CEOs all the time, especially when something like this may not look good on them. So let's find the measures. So these secret research and state developed a measure that I've drawn on and find to be useful. And it doesn't matter what the measures are, okay? These are ones that turn out to be valid. The first one is, well, hey, remember, see, narcissists feel superior, right? And they don't have a sense of superiority, they can have their hate gap. Because the CEOs think they're a million, they only pay 2 million. So we see a bigger hate gap within their cash and their office. The narcissistic CEOs have a bigger hate gap than their executives on their team. The other one is the business side of the year from the best of the image of the firm for financial statement, and the other is the CEO. So this is a good measure. Well, in order to validate this, some researchers have worked on it. One of the things that went to a group of employees said, you have to rob the scale, slow it out as if you were the CEO, break your CEO narcissism. And it turns out that that measure is very highly correlated with these other measures, the pay gap and those sides. Another group went to analysts and said, you follow these CEOs all day, break their narcissism. And that was like a 0.8 correlation, which is amazing time that the analysts could put a tag with the full measure, and then, hey, they're so correlated. So the last one is that you're able to start with a psychologist and say, you're watching these videos from these CEOs. You spend all day talking to people, break their narcissism. It turns out it's very highly correlated with these measures. They're not perfect, but I think they do give us some evidence that they're about measures. They're consistent over time. And so if you have the same person, it goes in different firms. The measure stays stable, and it's not a firm measure. If you have the same firm with different CEOs, the measure is not stable. And so it's not a firm attribute per se, really affected by the CEO. So, I don't know how many idiots that catch that. It's over 5,000 annual reports. Management process, okay. Google, GM, 2003. That's the right way to download it, that's the right version. And I got a rate messaging that process over 5,000 times. Okay, super fun. Okay, that's like your PhD. So you can do that. Okay, so I'll show you some of that. So I see good drugs, including I have, that there's variation in the picture size. So here's the first example. Okay, CEOs are the shareholders, just like the most CEO picture of CEO. Same thing here. I would say that the one page data goes a little further than the picture of the CEO. So let's get the lowest rating of 1. Here's the next one, 2. Who's the CEO? Okay, now we're showing a bigger group. We're not certain who the CEO is. Okay, so here's an example. You don't quite know the CEOs here, but one of the two. Okay, so there's a little more, I guess, visibility into the CEOs. Here's a 3. This is what I call the yearbook size. It's a little yearbook size picture. They put in it's just the CEO. He's by himself. I think EY because it's like 95% of my sample is male CEOs. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. There's another one. Just a yearbook size up in the corner. Then we get the bottom. Okay, so you got half a page. There's the text. Okay, there's more prominent. Here's my favorite one. This is an 8.5 by 11 full-page spread. And he is suitable for juniors. Okay, there's no one. She's a nice big full-page spread, and the next year, same thing. I don't know why I get a smile here, but if you want to smile, here's a smile more. Full-page spread. This is one of my favorite ones. Our goals are rather simple. We intend to double and perhaps triple our company's EBITDA over the next 5 years. And then you know anything about company performance, that is just a crazy goal, right? I mean, to be able to achieve that type of growth is, especially the big firm, these are all big firms, is very impressive. Okay, here's some. This is very interesting. And what we're saying is that CEOs that have pictures like this and have bigger pay gaps are going to get higher score on our narcissism index. Okay. So we know what we've seen in the literature that these CEOs are doing. First one, I talked about firm strategy, which is really lots of places look at the CEO taking decisions. This is really their ownership, right? CEO, they kind of put forth strategy of the firm. So one paper looked at CEOs in the computer hardware and software industry. And what they found is when a new CEO comes in and they're narcissist, they change things. They go a new direction. Their vision. And the way we see this happening is they do more advertising. They do greater selling expenses to kind of get their firm out. We're going to push our revenue. We're going to be better. We're going to be bigger. They do more research and development. And that's kind of really saying we're going to get new directions. We're going to do new things. We're going to be innovative. They're going to take on more debt. Okay, because they're going to do more. They got to get money somehow. We also see that they have more acquisitions and larger acquisitions. They grow. They're empire builders. Then you think about a narcissist, right? That puts their firm more visible. They're in the news more. We're merging. We're acquiring. We're doing these great things. What they find that this results in is they get really big wins. They get really big losses. Okay, from these bold choices they're making. Another thing we see, and this is in a broader sample firms, is the CEOs, the CEOs who serve on other boards and other companies, what they do is they borrow the ideas. They imitate more than non-narcissistic CEOs. And why would you do that, right? Why would you imitate more? And I can see that you want to be unique if you're a narcissist. What's actually happening is they're getting a sense of legitimacy. And that's what scholars have found with the imitation of other companies is to give you a sense of legitimacy. What we're doing, what's the best, what other companies are doing. What's interesting is that the opposite thing happens with the board of directors who serve the purpose of the narcissistic CEO. And so that board of directors has experience in a certain industry. We think we draw on their experience, we bring that to our firm. No, okay. The narcissistic CEO suppresses ideas. They're not going in a different direction than their board of directors. Okay, it's not their idea. Okay, so they don't play nice with others. So I think what I take from that. One of the influence that is when a CEO takes office is a narcissist. The board of directors appointed after him are more likely to be narcissists as well. Okay, so you can see that happen. I become the CEO. I got these grand visions. I don't want the governing mechanism of my firm to stand in my way, so I'm going to appoint other people to my board who will support my vision. And you see that happen that when they give these other directors who are also narcissists, that relationship between risk spending, research and development actually gets stronger because they surround themselves with other narcissists. Here's a great quote from a partner at a consulting firm that came up from research, and she said, as a director, I'm very aware of the narcissistic behavior of CEOs. When I worked at a major consulting company, there were some clients, CEOs who were clearly narcissistic. I was there to make sure to talk about the client's CEO's personality. When asked how she knew that they were narcissists, she said this: the way they interact with people gives you a feeling that they feel like the greatest men, okay? Superiority, authority, lack of empathy. Huge offices, big fancy cars, and a large number of assistants are all taking care of their narcissism. Now, that doesn't mean this one got fancy cars or narcissists. That means the narcissists often got fancy cars. That's the way I look at it. Okay? They got big mergers and acquisitions. We just talked about that. They initiate a lot of things. Yes, the research and development. But they don't care about the details. You can never take criticism of personal attacks. Okay? So there's some personal experience is very consistent with what we've seen through research. One thing that happens when they go through these big wins, big losses, they make big losses. And research has shown that interestingly enough, they don't confident that they don't build. Usually when people incur loss, they sense a fear or conservativeness or response to loss. Not so narcissists. They still take just as much risk. Okay? Because they fail, they'll still keep taking the risky behavior. They don't change. So still engage in the R&D, the big capital expenditures, usually on work. The other part is I found so interesting in the study was is the narcissist getting social praise, paying attention from the community, from the employees, from the media covering the firm. Then they take on more. Okay? This fuels. Okay? So objective performance measures they ignore, and they eat the same behavior, but if you get their praise, they do more. Okay? And I feel like the funny is, you take a firm of people, and the board of directors and the managers, but the individual CEO actually has an effect. I still find it amazing that we find that effect in the research that's so strong that one individual, okay, you get social praise and that affects another person at a point. What that means I'll do with this kind of captures the attention seeking. I want to be praised for the work I do. Is there's this movement in business, corporate social responsibility. We're going to engage in green, environmentally concerned efforts. We're going to be involved with charities. We're a great way to get attention, right? To get press, to get people doing media sentiment on your firm. And so narcissistic CEOs actually spend more money on corporate social responsibility. Do you know if that's not more successful at firms? They do spend more money trying to get this attention in image reinforcement. All right, now this one's actually from my own research. And the way this came about was my first year summer paper. The PhD student, I said, what am I going to accounting? Well, most fundamental thing accounting people care about earnings per share. And this is what analysts forecast for firms. This is what you often see on news feeds. The need earnings data. This is earnings per share. This is a fundamental number for accounting. So the question was, well, not just have this mixed bag, where sometimes it could be really good attributes of a firm, other times might be bad attributes. So let's just say their performance. And so far we just talked about strategies, not necessarily performance. We'll find that they actually have higher earnings. And it follows from valuation models that have higher earnings, you should have higher stock prices, and guess what? They have higher stock prices. Who would want that, right? Do you want more earnings? Well, higher stock prices, that's good for everyone. Part of the challenge is the way to achieve this. So we get into technical accounting on this, but earnings is the numerator, shares outstanding is the denominator. So what we did is look at how they affect those two spots. So instead of the denominator, you can set shares outstanding by buying shares. Your firm can go buy your own shares of that are on the market, and you can reduce the denominator, which should make earnings go up. Okay, it's kind of a false way to make yourself look better. We don't find that narcissistic CEOs do this. Okay, they don't manipulate the shares. So you look at the numerator and say, cool, that's earnings. Okay, it could be accounting, there's different accounting. They can make different accruals, is what we call them. And we don't find any evidence that they affect accounting accruals. So there's a better way, and that's where you can make real business decisions that affect how your earnings are reported. such as inventory production decisions. You build your inventory, okay? The way accounting works is you put some of the costs on your balance sheet, and they just get stuck there until you sell the goods. And so if you're building inventory, you're putting costs on your balance sheet, which means those costs don't end up on your income statement. And so this is a way that narcissistic CEOs can make their earnings look better than the costs on their income statement. So they get stuck with those costs on their balance sheet. So they look better. Okay, this is a short-term fix. Well, surprisingly enough, narcissistic CEOs have shorter tenures than non-narcissistic CEOs. Okay, I think I heard a little bit, and I'm going to move on to the next great thing. So that's what's out of that paper. That dividends affect the accounting per se, but in the extreme, there are ways of accruals to affect your accounting. We find that they actually are more likely to fraud, an intentional criminal misrepresentation of what your financial statements are. So narcissistic CEOs, here's that G, accounting for it, but if they can't do things with strategy or real decisions, well, I'll just change the numbers intentionally and criminally do that. Here's another one you might find interesting. This is one of my own papers. We ask the question of, well, there's a tax behavior. And one of the things that a narcissistic CEO needs, right, as opposed to take on more debt, well, they need cash. If you're a lot of firms or engage research development, you need cash. Well, one of the best ways to get cash is to not give it to the government for taxes. So we said, let's go find out if they pay less in taxes. And sure enough, they use corporate tax shelters, which is a fancy way of saying they avoid more taxes. They structure their policy, where they're located, they avoid tax planning techniques. Some of them might be, they're perfectly legal, some of them are questionable. They do this to avoid taxes. Why? So they get cash. Okay, the bottom line, you see they get on average $33 to $78 million less paid in taxes. That's real dollars they can then use to fuel whatever else they want to do. The other part of this that's a really technical thing in accounting, but if you have uncertain tax position, which is to say, I'm going to put this on my tax return. I'm not sure if the IRS is going to uphold it. And in accounting, we just say it's more likely than not. You can do it. Okay, but you have to book a reserve, which is to say, we may not get this benefit, but we could. Okay, it's what they're called UTDs, uncertain tax benefits. Okay, and narcissistic CEOs have more of these, which means they take riskier tax positions, which we not uphold. Okay, but if you've got a legal process involved there, it can take years, right? The IRS is going to audit it. You have that possibility. Or they have to negotiate in court what are we actually going to pay, what should we pay. So this is going to take time. So this is a really easy way for a narcissistic CEO to free up cash. They take an uncertain tax position, and you have to be around when it actually comes back for reverses. Because most narcissistic CEOs are male. Or most CEOs are. Most CEOs are male. That's a talk for another day. But there are female CEOs, and so there's new research from some faculty here at South State where we're looking at what happens with those female CEOs. And this is really interesting because personality traits manifest differently across gender. So we have a high narcissist male, high narcissist female, and they're going to be perceived differently, even though they engage in the same behavior. Women leaders who display these narcissistic tendencies are perceived by men subordinates as less effective leaders than deeply narcissistic men leaders. Okay, and I'm not sure what is the full cause behind that. It's just to say that the male and female leader are perceived differently, even with the same behaviors. Organizations that women CEOs have it down to be more equity-based, they're fair, they're more transparent. And then finally, one of the things that limits often female CEOs is they don't have support. They can't implement their decision often as a lone female. And this research shows that a second female on the board actually really benefits. They're a lone female, they call this token status, but they're only female, and they have a hard time implementing their decisions. So we said this and said, well, let's look at this with narcissism. And what we find is that women CEOs are just as likely to exhibit narcissism as male CEOs. So it's not differential there. But what is different is that the narcissistic women CEOs don't engage in this risk-taking, the spending of research and development on capital expenditures that the male CEOs do. And they don't engage in the questionable behaviors that the male CEOs do. So we see a complete opposite result with female CEOs. And likely because, they're just not able to carry their vision because they're female, they're perceived differently than the male CEO. One of the questions we ask is, you know, all this behavior that we see CEOs are engaging in, there's other parties to this, okay, that are observing and engaging with those firms. Are they picking up on this? Are they aware that that firm is engaging in behaviors because of the narcissistic CEO? So first, this is a very accounting one. It's the auditing world. The auditors have to go and check the financial statements, are they accurate or not. So auditors use this audit risk model. The audit risk model is three components: inherent risk, control risk, and detection risk. Inherent risk and control risk are just assessed by the auditor. They go in and say, what's the business risk of this company? What's the likelihood there might be fraud in this company? Do they have a risky business that might put more pressure? These are the inherent risk. Then they assess the control risk, which is all the procedures or policies in place to make sure that financial accounting is done properly. So they get assessment of that. And then they set this last part, the detection risk. So the inherent risk is high, and control risk is high, but the detection risk is going to be set low, which is the risk that they're not going to find what they need to. Okay? So if they set, if they set the detection risk low, you have to do more work. You got to go look at more, you got to go look at more inventory, you got to do things higher because they're uncertain. Okay? So we argue that narcissistic CEOs have a higher inherent risk. Okay? Their business risk, the way they're engaging in business is riskier. There's more pressure at the firm, where people might be more likely to engage in fraud. There's also tests to see if they're higher control risk. We find that they have more control weaknesses, where their controls don't work, so they can't rely on them. They have to do more work as the auditor. So when the auditors charge higher fees to narcissistic CEOs for doing more work. And for the second, I think it's on average about $120,000 more in fees paid just because your CEOs are narcissists. So that's again real money and costs going out. So the auditors take it on us as part of their process. One of the other things that we're currently working on is what do analysts do? Okay, so analysts see these projections from CEOs. This is a developing paper where we find the analysts and take over the control. If the CEO puts out a projection, they will par back their own projections because they know narcissists are full of stuff, is what we're finding. So I think the question we need to ask in this form is, are they effective? And I don't know if the answer is clear. All the research I've done or read about, I see that there are some really positive performance outcomes where some strategy might be developed and be a really good thing to have this vision and charisma put forth by a narcissistic CEO, but it won't be detrimental because they'll do things that are in their own interest, not the firm's interest. The performance outcomes are a little sticky because what I see is that their performance is actually better. And it's hard to argue, and that's maybe why we keep seeing narcissistic CEOs put in place, because if their performance is better, you can put up with the bad interpersonal, right? You can deal with the angry boss if the performance is better. So that was a little bit unclear. In the extreme form, right, we might see that they do questionable things like taxes. They may engage in fraud. Obviously, those are things we would not want in the firm. The overall conclusion I've taken from this is that tone matters. Who your firm leader is has a significant effect on how your firm implements choices, what choices it makes, the vision it takes, and how to run. It really has a significant effect. And then finally, there's just real benefits and costs. And as soon as you go through your career, you're going to have bosses that may fit what I've described, and you're going to have to weigh the benefits and costs, and you learn how to deal with some of the costs that are those from a narcissistic CEO. So with that, I'll open up any questions that I have for great running time. I was just telling you your research, you guys maybe how it would be an increased ability as well. So that's great about that research assistant help gather that data. What I do know about social media is not necessarily the firm level. There are studies that are being done about how they post, right? They'll make themselves more, they'll put more selfies up, they'll have more foul language in their posts. And that might be something where I had into this world is employers look at your Facebook pages in that area. And so you want to be aware that those things could affect your future career track. It would be interesting to see like Twitter accounts. I know some research on that. This is obviously good examples of political leaders and firm leaders that use Twitter. It might be interesting to study that. Any other questions? Yeah. Just looking at growth in professional time, is there any indication that growth is being more social acceptability of narcissism or more accepting of metric nowadays, or is it true growth in narcissism? Control of what acceptability metric? Great question. So I think the best study on that's the Mirror Effect book. What they did is they looked at celebrity narcissists. They showed that celebrities have higher narcissism than the average population, higher narcissism than the average MBA student. And what they argued there is, we kind of accept celebrity behavior. People have very extreme, Charlie Sheen, or so very dysfunctional behavior that is mirrored by youth because they see it as successful. So I think the proliferation of tolerance of celebrity behavior certainly contributes to we can accept that narcissism. We think that's normal. It's not normal. But the way media portrays it is normal. How about your research and personnel? What do you see as the turnover in narcissism for people or less narcissism? The one thing I know is just the CEO level that the CEO will turn over more often. I haven't looked at the causes. I really study. I think it's often the narcissistic CEO that has an X-ray team, right? They're trying to move up the world next big firm. But it could be because they're dysfunctional as well. I'm not certain why. Any other questions? Is narcissism a very trait that considered to be curable in CEO and narcissistic change? So there's a study in psychology, and the answer is yes and no. Through time, people can adapt their behaviors, whether that's through personal discipline, being aware they're aware of this behavior, they curtail themselves, or through counseling. There's only personality traits that really stick over time. The research would suggest that what might be early in your life, you may be mild narcissist, and your traits are very abrasive and aggressive. You may be able to calm that back. The manifestation of your personality, they may still have the same high personality. We usually see, maybe just growing up, that people have temper over time. Those follow the case. I've not been a great study on that, and the reason why it's really hard to control for all the factors, right? This is these turns off narcissist choice the firm makes if they're going to hire in circumstances. So the results that I found most is that we try to control for firm characteristics at the time the CEO is hired, so we can say this is really the CEO, not the choice of the CEO. That's just a sticky issue in research, it's more a technical comment issue than it is anything. There's certainly great there's evidence on that. There's another one right here. I was wondering if you see any patterns with certain industries, in finance industry, how I do that versus research. Yeah, this is a question I've gotten several times. I can't be close to the answer because our data is limited, so we just look at Fortune 500. There's not a lot of firms, but it's not the S&P 500, it's not fixed. We have a lot of limitation of the data. It really isn't. At least in my data, I did see that analysis on the S&P 500 one. There's sort of, apparently people see some in the energy industry or the entertainment industry. I think it's just more about being a CEO than anything. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you for coming today. So let's thank Dr. Olson for his presentation. And the question I have for him was I want to ask him, even our position, thank you for all these thoughts. Thank you. Great pleasure to know Scott. He's a friend of Huntsman School. In fact, this space that we're in right now, the Elton Perry Pavilion, which Scott opens up to another third a little bit farther, made in honor of our great alumnus, Elder Elton Perry, was supported in part by Zions Bank. By the way, is known around the state as Utah's unelected governor. He's involved in everything. There isn't a good cause that Scott in some way hasn't been involved in. And he serves on so many different boards. Governor Herbert said there's rarely an event that is designed to help Utah businesses, families, or communities in which Scott is not involved. He says, my theory is that the guy has clones who happen to be every bit as friendly as he is. Scott's family heritage includes Edward T. Desson, who was an early pioneer here in Cache Valley, and also Major Howard Egan, who was in charge of the Pony Express from Salt Lake to Reno. So his family goes back quite a ways. His father was a very eminent judge here in Salt Lake City, a federal judge, Judge Walter Anderson. Scott is married to Jesselie Marlowe Anderson, and among his many, many honors and distinctions are that he and Jesselie were honored as distinguished service with the Distinguished Service Award from Utah State University in 2007. So won't you join me in welcoming Scott Anderson to short video that might be a way to start us off. I'm thrilled to be here with you this morning. I'm especially pleased to be in this room. Elton Perry not only was a good friend, but he was a board member of the Zions Bank and helped direct the bank for a long period of time. And so we were honored to be able to participate and help honor him with the naming of this room. But to begin with, I wanted to show you a short video. It tells the history of Zions Bank, and I think that will help set the stage for maybe some of the comments and questions. Today, the bank was over 140 years old, and we did this on the 140th anniversary. And so it's 140 years of Zions history and 140 seconds. So it's a short video, but I hope you enjoy it. 140 years of Zions Bank history in 140 seconds. It all started July 16, 1873. Governor Brigham Young of Utah Territory considers organizing a savings bank in Salt Lake Valley called Zions Savings Bank Trust Company. 40 years later, the bank was incorporated with a capital stock of $200,000. It's a lot of money. You guys started making that October 30, 1873, David North School opened cashier recording funds of almost $6,000 by 46 months. $6,000 back in those days was nothing to say that. During 1889, financial assistance for the bank helped launch several industrial firms that later became Texas Copper, Union Pacific, Utah Power, and Mountain Fuel. David Bethel major industry was served by 9 formative years. In 1960, a bigger bank was in Rural, Utah, saving money on shipping materials. 80,000 acres of Salt Lake City were wrapped in paper and quarter box. They settled with 420 miles by parcel boat, much cheaper than sending them by freight line. After this done, U.S. Postal Service had most weight limits on shippers. Today, Zions Bank Rural Office is the only bank in the country entirely shipped by mail. After the Great Depression, many banks across the nation closed involuntarily. In February of 1932, Warrior depositors received $1.5 million in 2.5 days. Prompting bank president Hubert Grant signed the way to show you there was no safer bank in the state or the nation. By the end of the month, total deposits exceeded withdrawals. Without that fact, this video probably would have ended here. Probably a second. On December 31st, 1957, Zions Savings Bank Trust Company, Utah Savings Trust Company, and First National Bank, Salt Lake City, merged to form Zions First National Bank. Also, the apostrophe in Zions was dropped. I never really liked that apostrophe anyway. A few years later, April 2nd, 1960, the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints sold the majority of their control of the bank to Keystone Insurance Investment Company. I got the Public Health Celebration Church and Bank. Given ahead before the time, June 1991, Zions Bank started annual traditional name where bankers dropped the balance sheet, pick up paper, destroying them, and sprucing up the homes and held away in the state. This event always brings up money for East July 1997, Chance State Bank was decision-making release. Zions Bank in Idaho. Who doesn't like Idaho so much? Today's Zions Bank was roughly 1,800 people, 120 locations throughout the communities of the time. Literally half of the business. And that's 140 years of Zions Bank history in 140 seconds. Okay, that's great. It's great way to get us into the bank. We want to talk about banking in Utah and economic development a little bit, Scott. I noticed in that video that Pina's on, you were there with your paint press. That started just shortly after you arrived at Zions Bank. Yeah, we've been at about 25 years, 26 years, and we've painted about 50 homes a year, and we get almost 3,000 people now. So with just the employees, they come with their families, and some of the employees are here, and we paint homes in communities all throughout our market, Utah, Idaho. Well, I think that was in June or July of 1991, and you arrived at the bank in December of 1990. And you came from Bank of America, and you had been in San Francisco, and before that you were in Japan, and then before that you were in San Francisco with Bank of America. So we're working back a little bit. My understanding is your master's degree is in economics and international affairs from Johns Hopkins. You have a bachelor's degree in philosophy and economics from Columbia. You did attend the University of Utah for 2 years, served an LDS mission to Tahiti, and someplace along the line in there you also spent a year at the University of Bologna in Italy. So you picked up French, Italian, Japanese along that way at one point. Okay. I mentioned something about your distinguished forebears and your honored father and mother. I didn't mention that yours was a bipartisan family. Your mother coming from a strong Democratic family. My mother and her brother was a candidate for governor of the state. I remember when he ran was in 1958. It was, and he ran for Senate against Wallace Bennett and lost both. Yeah. Well, we have something in common with that in our family. I had a father that ran and lost for governor, and I ran, as you know, in the Senate and lost badly. Scott, take us a little bit through your developmental years, if you would, before we get into banking and what you're doing now. What was it that interested you in economics to start out? Well, I was always intrigued with the sort of multiplier effect of money and how people can deposit money in banks. The banks can take the money and run it out 7 times, and it just has a huge economic impact. And I went to school, as you mentioned, at the University of Bologna for a while, and when you're there, you realize how important trade and finance have been to the development of the world. I think Bologna is the oldest university in Italy. It's the oldest university in the world, and they have a very good sense of history and the history of finance. And so they go back to where the merchant princes, actually started the banking system. If you go back early enough, people would carry around their gold or whatever they were going to barter with, and then they realized that they didn't have to carry it around, and someone would say, keep it for them and give them a slip of paper, which became checks that they write on. And so the banking really that we know, they came from those early Italian merchants. And it always intrigued me how the money can grow and expand and build on the trust. This out there being multiplied, how business grow. So the money multiplier is what really drew you into a study of economics. You also studied philosophy along the way and international relations. Tell us a little bit about your interest in those topics. Well, I love to read, and I love to read the books of some of the European philosophers. I like to see how they thought and how they sort of pieced together the history of humankind and how it developed. And so when I had the chance to go to Columbia University in New York, they had some of the best professors of philosophy in the world. I was able to take courses from them, and I graduated with a degree in philosophy, as you said, but also economics, because my direction, you never earn a living as a professor of philosophy. Good counsel. And the international relations, you've obviously lived all over the world. You were in Japan for 7 years or something like that. What is it about international affairs that are of interest to you? Well, I think going back again to my experience in Italy, and you saw how much of the development of the world really has come from trade. If you go back to the time of Cleopatra, here Egypt was the wealthiest country in the world. She was probably the wealthiest person in the world. And then it moved. Cleopatra, and then it moved. And I had a professor in the University of Bologna who was a communist. Bologna was the largest communist city in the free world. freely elected as a communist government. But his contention was that if you look at Columbus, when he knew where he was going, and it wasn't to prove that the world was round. It was to find the lost tribes of Israel, because he was pretty much a professor. He had a Jewish background, and he thought if he could find them, that he could trade back and forth and have make an immense fortune. And so so much of the world is based on this trade. And as you see the world develop, it's become so flat and so interconnected that it's fascinating. So this was a Marxist professor who was telling you about trade. Yeah. And what else did you read from this Marxist professor? Oh yeah, it's interesting. The trains ran on time in Bologna, though in Italy they were always late on Sunday. Yeah, except Mussolini was the dictator. This is the Red Scarchy comment, so I hesitate to make it. But you did transfer from the University of Utah to Columbia. And you stayed at the University of Utah. There were plenty of Marxist professors for you to learn there. That's probably true. I took some classes from them. One, Walter P. Reed, a great philosopher. Yeah, Professor D. Scott, you come from a family of 6 boys and 1 girl. And your brothers are all very distinguished in their own professions. You have, I think, 3 who were doctors and 2 who were lawyers. Is that right? Including one named Doug, who's a doctor. Yeah. Is he the guy who's staring out at the NFL board? He's like on north on 9 to feet, nose and throat. Yeah. At least he's not an expert. That's good. So, Scott, your grandmother said that of you that she thought that you were probably the only non-professional in the family. You were very far too entrepreneurial. I also know about your relationship with your grandmother and why she might have said that. I had a fabulous grandmother, and we would spend the summers with her. She had a summer home up on Pennsylvania, just outside of West Yellowstone. Was this heavy? Was this heavy? But she believed in education. She never got beyond, and I don't think she actually graduated from high school, but she believed in education. She was just a hungry reader. Anyway, she told me that she was disappointed that I was her only grandson that wasn't a professional. I didn't have a doctor for my name or an attorney after my name, and that's true. So, I hope to have the chance to meet Denise someday, because I want to assure her that maybe we can arrange to have you come honorary doctor here at Utah State. So take a note of that. Let's take a note of that. What do you think? Our mission here at the Hudson School of Business is to develop leaders of distinction in commerce and public affairs, and there's no one who exemplifies that more than you. So we're really honored to have you here with us today. Scott, you are so involved in community affairs. Help us understand why you devote so much of your time to community affairs. Well, I passed out, and I will address this guiding principle for the bank, and this goes back to our founder, Brigham Young, and it was revised by Roy Simmons, who I consider the modern-day founder of the bank, and by his son Harris, who's our chairman of Science Bank Corporation. But there are a couple things in here that I want to emphasize in the middle. It says banking is a local business, and that to be successful, you have to have strong ties to the community and strong relationships with our client. And then at the top, it says our goal is to create value for our clients, value for the community, value for the employees, and obviously value for the shareholders who have invested their capital in our organization. And to create this value and to help our clients, we need to be conservatively entrepreneurial, and we need to do things that will help our clients grow and develop, whether they be a consumer, whether they be a business, and to provide economic opportunities for them that will allow growth. And so we are very much attuned to the community. We think it's part of the role of being a community banker. But on the other hand, it's sort of selfish that if everyone prospers, hopefully people will come back and do more business with us, and then we'll prosper. And then our customer stories make our story possible, and we live in a very community. And so going back to the very beginning, when Brigham Young founded the bank, he said that he wanted this bank to be the heart and soul of the community, and to be recognized as a significant contributor to the community. And I think from that founding to today, that really is in our DNA. We celebrate this year the 100th anniversary of the birth, the 100th birth of Leonard Arrington, who was a professor of economic history in our college, and before he became church historian, and wrote a great book, Great Basic Union. And so that's a wonderful book about the development of Utah's economy, and of course, I think has a very big part of that. And it's interesting, as you say, how important it is for money, how important the role of money is in economic development, and how tied it is to community affairs. And you used the magic word trust a little bit ago, that really you can't do your job without that strong trust bond between the bank and the community. And that's what you exemplify so well with your involvement in all these different... Well, I think that's what our employees do. Again, we have a couple of them out here. Our business is based on trust, and it goes back to the very beginning of banking. That I trust if I give my gold to you, that when I need it, I can get it back. And if I feel like I can't get it back, I'm not going to give it to you. If I don't give it to you, then you can't spread it around. It's really an amazing thing, isn't it? You try to put yourself back into the time when those deposits first happened. We take it for granted now. I bank with you. I never think about it twice, and I always know that I can get my money from outside bank if I need it, no matter where I am in the world. But you think about those original people involved in that transaction, handing over the folio. That had to take a lot. It is. It's just crushing. You may have noted in the video that during the Depression, there was a run on the banking, and people were lined up. The first day they took out about $2 million, and it was owned by the church, and the church knew that it would fail if they couldn't get more money, and so they posted a note on the door saying, we have plenty of money. It's a safe bank. Come and we will. We'll give you whatever you want. And then they sent Heber J. Grant back east to raise additional capital. And he raised $1 million. And when he came back, in a brilliant PR move, he had the cash stacked on the back of a wagon and rode it down Main Street to the front of the bank and then carried it in the money. So people saw the money come in. They saw this letter from the chairman of the bank, and happened to be the president of the LDS Church at the time, and the run had stopped. But again, it was that trust that if you need the money, it will be there. Yeah. Now, going back to Bank of America a little bit, it's how you connect there. Talk a little bit about the Bank of America. It was founded by Amedeo Giannini, an Italian immigrant who started the Bank of San Francisco, originally as the Bank of Italy, and then renamed it some years later Bank of America. She tells a little bit about Bank of America. And when I think it's the largest bank ever. It's only it's about the third largest bank. When I worked for them, it was the largest bank in the world. I was lucky that I became very close to Claire Finetti, who was AP's daughter, the only surviving child. But AP was really a genius, and a lot of how we look at banking today came from him. Before that time, banking was for the rich. If you didn't have a lot of money, you worked in the bank. And AP had came from humble beginnings. He was a food merchant, and as he would sell, people then would come to him and say, "I borrow this or borrow that," almost like a money lender. And he decided for Italian immigrants like him, he would open up a bank. And so these were immigrants, and he then decided that he could lend to them and have them pay over time. So he developed installment lending. Before then, you'd get a loan and you'd pay it off. But the working class couldn't do that. So he invented installment lending. Then he invented the credit card, which was originally called Bank of America card, and then it became Visa. And so he was a real genius in taking banking and giving it to the masses and giving it to small businesses. And he was unique in that when he died, his estate was about $500,000. What year was that? He died in 1947. Okay.